A-Systems is thrilled to present this video introducing the new features present in version 14.0 of our popular JobView accounting software. Ideas for new system features come from loyal users just like you. A good number of these ideas come from our semi-annual user conferences, where serious-minded JobView users gather to share ideas and experiences they've had using JobView. Thank you for your input and the wonderful suggestions you've submitted, making you a valuable partner in our development strategy. I'm going to show you some of these new features and explain their benefits. Keep in mind that there are more new features in version 14.0 than we can show you in this quick video. We've chosen some that are readily apparent and easy to describe using this visual medium. Let's start with a few changes to the look and feel of the system. Our workflow menus, introduced in version 12.0, have been very popular. We've enhanced them by adding optional background wallpaper. Here in Setup Preferences, you can see that you can pick from a number of pre-loaded background images or load an image of your own. You can also have the wallpaper rotate randomly among the pre-loaded images. After choosing your preference, the workflow menu looks like this. We've also made it more convenient to access setup programs for each module. Now, instead of clicking on the Setup menu, selecting Accounting Options, and selecting the desired module, you can simply right-click on the module icon and select this option. Well, that leads us to a new feature available for the title bar at the top of the window. I'll right-click here and run the Company Information Setup program. Now I'll modify the company-specific title bar. As you can see, we can now use these settings to include a company logo at the top of our JobView window. Here are a few nice changes that have been added system-wide. First, when we are working with batches, the display order for the batches in the window can be modified by moving batches up and down. Now, when we are entering a job number in a transaction such as a time card or an invoice, we can type a portion of the job name in the job ID field and press Enter. The program will find any matches and let us choose the job we're after. Here's a very nice feature. When we attach a note to a customer, vendor, or employee record, we can ask the system to remind us of this information during transaction entry. For example, I'm going to add a note to a vendor record. When I add the note, I now see that a new option lets me choose to have this note displayed during payment selection. When I finish typing the note, an alarm bell icon shows up here. Now, when I go to payment selection and select one of this vendor's invoices for payment, my message pops up as a reminder. As I mentioned, this feature is available for vendors, customers, and employees. When looking up a vendor, customer, employee, or job, we've added a new capability to the search feature. Here I am looking for a specific vendor. I know that his office is somewhere in the town of Salem, but I can't remember the vendor name or number. I can just type Salem and press Enter. The list is now filtered to just vendors with the word Salem in the vendor name or address. Our last system-wide change is also found when editing vendor, customer, employee, and job records. In all of these entry programs, information is separated into tabbed segments. Now I don't have to click on the History, Notes, or Attachments tab to know whether there are invoices, notes, or documents attached to this vendor. If there are any invoices, notes, or attachments, the appropriate tab will have a bold type font. In the general ledger, we have added the ability to print a cash flow statement. This is done simply by checking this box in the financial statement printing window. The cash flow statement looks like this. Setup for the cash flow statement is done during financial statement design. For any line item on the financial statement, you can assign which cash flow statement category should be used for cash expenditures charged to this line item. For example, when I look at the line item for insurance expense, I can also choose a cash flow category for cash spent on insurance here. The appropriate category is cash paid for expenses. When you first load version 14.0, the program will convert your data. Part of this data conversion is a smart allocation of all your existing financial statement line items to the appropriate cash flow categories. This means that you can just check the box in financial statement printing and get an accurate cash flow statement without doing any setup at all. A few of the changes in accounts payable are worth noting. First, when you add a new vendor, the system will automatically default to the next available vendor ID number. However, if there are any vendor ID numbers that have been skipped in the past, or where vendors have been deleted in the past, the system will put these numbers in a drop-down list box and let you choose one of them instead. Next, when printing 1099s after the end of the year, the program will now print separate 1096 summary forms for 1099 MISC and 1099 INT. In other words, if the program prints a mixture of miscellaneous and interest 1099 forms in the same run, it will print two summary 1096 forms, one that totals all the miscellaneous forms and one that totals all the interest forms. Finally, in accounts payable, we've added this great little button in vendor entry that lets you set a cutoff date and have the system mark inactive all the vendors who have not had any invoices or payments since that cutoff date. In the payroll module, we've added a nice capability to the pay voucher email feature. In employee setup, you can now provide a password for accessing the emailed pay voucher PDF file. If this password is set, then when the system creates a PDF of the employee's direct deposit pay voucher and attaches it to an email, that PDF can only be opened by supplying this password. In the accounts receivable module, we've added a new capability to the statement printing program. Now, you can print a statement that shows everything the customer owes that is currently past due. Well, that's our little new feature summary for this update. Of course, we didn't show all the new features, not by a long shot. To read up on the rest of them, consult your update documentation shipped with this update, or find the update information in the New Features section of the help file. Now it's time to look forward to version 14.1.